What's going on, people? Today we're going to talk about creative funding ideals for your business. I'm going to tell you about my day. Right now, what I want you to do is jump into the How to Start a Business Prepping course. It's going to give you insights and tactics how you could set yourself up to have a successful business. For a long time, I've noticed that a lot of people take courses and they're not really successful and they feel cheated when just looking upon the people who take the courses and where they are in life. It's problematic that they're not prepared to run a business. You're not going to take someone who is only making $30,000 a year and turn them into $1 million earner overnight. It just ain't going to happen. And this course will help you with that. The link is under the stream. So with that, let's get into creative funding ideals. So let's start where we need to start. How much money do you need? Because a lot of people out here looking for funding and they have no clue to how much money they need. They're just trying to get as much funding as possible. $150, $200, $300,000 in open credit cards, lines of credit, just getting as much as possible without a real concrete number on where you need to be. And this research and prep work is going to be very indicative of you'll be successful. I heard Erica talk about on her live stream, all of these guys had these credit cards. They got all this funding and they have no idea what to do with it. It's like, hey, what should I invest in? That's the last question that you should be asking. When you're going out to get funding, you should have a firm ideal of where you want the money to go. Like a lot of people want to get in real estate. Real estate is, there's creative financing, but typically it goes better if you have some money. So what is one of the first thing we're going to start is, where are you? What type of business do you want to start? That's the first place you start. What kind of business do you want to start? And you could go on the internet and do this. Hold on. Let me get the internet up. And just go, how much does it take to start a laundromat? Typically, startup costs for a laundromat can run anywhere about $200,000 to over $1 million. After assessing your startup costs, your budget should include allowances for regular future expenses such as loan financing payment, rent, and maintenance. Let's see. How much does it take to start a car wash? Each type of car wash have different equipment and land requirements and hence unique budget. With self-serve bays, depending on your local climate, equipment costs approximately $15,000 to $25,000. Building costs vary, but the simplest structures will start at around $25,000. How many of you do this? Because you're like, hey, I want to start this business. How many of you go to Google and do this research? This is going to be indicative of your future success. How much research did you do? How much money that you know that you need? How much does it take to start a YouTube channel? Or approximately the launch and create a YouTube video trial require equipment for the beginner cost range from $300 to a maximum of $500 to start a YouTube channel. You see where I'm going with this? Virtually anything that you could think of, how much does it start? How much does it take to start a website? Depending on your needs, building a website could cost anywhere from between $100 and $500. If you need a feature-rich, custom-built website, it can go as high as $30,000 or more. To build a small website, you need to have a budget for the domain name and web hosting. Let's get ridiculous. How much does it take to start? Initial development, this is software as a service. The initial development costs range so much that you could spend as little as $6,000 to get the ball rolling, way up to $250,000 for ambitious projects. So one of the things you should know before you start seeking funding is how much money you're going to need. This is the simplest thing that many people don't do. A lot of folks go out there and they go out and get all these credit cards. They get these lines of credit and they have no idea what they're getting this money for. No idea. And that right there, because see, once you start to think deeply about your business, and like if someone's like was to wake you up in the middle of the night and go, "Hey, Ed, how much money do you need to start your business?" And you go like 25,000. You want to know those numbers like that, because one of the reasons that many businesses fail is that many people who run the business aren't good at math. They don't know their numbers. They don't know how much money it's going to take for them to be profitable. They don't know how much money it's going to take for them to break even. They don't know this. They just spin the dice. So that's the first place that you start with how much money you need. Now, I'm going to tell you how much money it took me to start my businesses. GC Solutions, which was my first successful business, I was selling office furniture. It cost me $100 for the LLC. I worked out of my house. I had an assistant, but she didn't come on until later. But startup cost for the business that did 1.5 million was about $500. That was GC Solutions. Storage auction business. Startup cost about 15 grand. 15 grand. Because I had to spend money, buy units, and probably the 15 grand was just bought on units. Didn't have a building, didn't have any of that stuff. So startup cost for the storage auction business was 15 grand. Startup cost for this YouTube channel, $285. I did not reinvest any more money for 2 years. Startup costs for going back, startup costs for my online furniture business. I built the website myself, $200. See, this is one of the questions, because, there are so many businesses that you can start for little or nothing. And this is why all of these people who are going crazy over funding, like you want to get into trucking, you're going to need some money. Trucking is a very expensive business to operate because your truck going to need maintenance. Your truck going to need tires. You need to go into trucking with about 50 G's liquid after you secure the truck. So you got all these people who want to get in these businesses, and they don't understand that you can start a very profitable business for little or nothing. You really can. And I think that's where the conversation needs to go versus going out and getting all of this credit, because I do have business credit for Mac Daddy Media, but I haven't put a lot of time and effort into it. Today, I was getting some funding from Clearbank. Let me go ahead and Clearbank. I got some money from, I think I got some money. I put my application in today. Clearbank, you need to be up and running and making money. You know, they're not going to give you money for an ideal. They asked me, let's just walk you through the process. I had to sign them into my PayPal account. I had to provide 6 months of bank statements and all kinds of stuff. It was a lengthy application process. And these were business accounts. I had to provide my taxpayer ID number, had to provide my corporate papers. This is what you're looking at with financing, and this is Clearbank. So I think I got what I wanted because the guy's like, looks good and everything. We just got to validate everything, and then you'll get the money within 2 days. So one of the reasons, because this is me working towards getting more business credit and getting myself situated. How many of you guys out there feel that you need a lot of money to start your business, and that is holding you back? You don't have that money, so that's just holding you back. You can't go forward. I'm going to talk about some creative ways for you to get money and we're going to start with Broke Dick Danny. If you're at Broke Dick Danny status, which means you have absolutely no money, you have no credit, none of that stuff, and you want to get funding, first thing that you do, Mr. Broke Dick Danny, is you go ahead and get a budget. This is one of your problems. This is why you're Broke Dick Danny. You don't have a budget. You get a budget and you start managing the money that you already have. Because I'm here to tell you that if you're at Broke Dick Danny status and you get some extra money, you're just going to blow it. You're just going to blow it. You're not going to do the proper things because you have bad money habits. So first thing you do right off the bat is get a budget and start managing your money much, much better. So that's the first thing you do. And since you're Broke Dick Danny, more than likely you have low income, you're going to start creating additional income. Because you're Broke Dick Danny. Your credit's not that good. You don't know anybody. Nobody's going to give you any money. So you got to organically fund a multitude of these business ideals that you have. Like if you want to get in e-commerce, start eBay and Amazon. You can start with literally $100 getting into e-commerce and then reinvest the profits, which is why you need your job, your job, to pay the bills while you're building up your eBay. Because I remember my first, we had a lot of products, so this is atypical. But once I got back on eBay, we did like $13,000 that first month, being in the storage auction business. So that was very atypical, and it just went up each month after that. So Broke Dick Danny status, get yourself a budget and start creating additional income. Because here's the thing. Half of America, 75 million people, are roughly not in a position to get funding. Because they don't have much excess. They may be able to get a credit card with a $5,000 limit. That can help. But once again, one of the things that I'm getting ready to do once I finish up the prep course is I'm going to do some business classes, because regardless of where you get the money from or how you get the money, best that you save up the money and you pull the money out your bank account, so you don't have the pressure of having to pay this back, but you just have the pressure of making your business successful. All right, so let's get to the creative ways. You Broke Dick Danny. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go through your house and find everything that you can sell. I don't care if it's your bike. I don't care if it's Baby Joe's baby shoes, whatever you can sell. And you're going to take your laptop and you're going to go around and you're going to put on eBay and see what it sells for. And the stuff that sells for good coin, you're just going to stack it in the corner. And what you're going to do is first collect and identify everything that you want to sell. And then you're going to put it on eBay. You're going to put it on Craigslist. You're going to put it on Facebook. You're going to put it on OfferUp. But you're going to do this all at the same time. You're not going to do it, well, put a piece up here. You're going to sit down and you're going to spend as much time as you need collecting everything. And then when you've got everything, you're going to set it all up for sale in one day so the money comes in. That's a good way, even if you're broke Dick Danny, to raise $2,000 to $10,000, depending on how much stuff you have around your house. The second way, the creative way to fund your business, is to write your friends this email. Hey, Joe, I'm looking to start a business and I need some money. I don't want to borrow the money from you. I'm just wondering, do you have anything that you don't want that I can get from you and I can sell? And what you're going to do is send it through the email, or you're going to send them. You're not going to send a group message. A lot of people will automatically leave the conversation and come out of that. You're not sending a group message. You're going to send individual messages to all of your friends. And if the average person has 150 friends. So you're going to send it out and you'll be amazed at who will help you. One person may have a jackpot situation where they've got a lot of stuff they just want to get rid of. And you work out some kind of deal where you sell it and you get money. Another way to creatively get funding for your business is to start a low-cost service business. Let's say you want to open up a laundromat and you're going to need $75,000. You got your job, but what you're going to do is open up a service business such as painting or something that's going to make you like an additional $3,000 or $4,000 a month. And what you're going to do is save every penny of that money. You're not going to spend it. You're not going to ball out with it. You're going to save every penny of that money. And within 2 years, you'll have enough money to open up your laundromat. Once again, these creative financing ways, because once again, if you were bankable, you could get good. You got good credit. You can get loans. You would not need these creative ways of financing. Currently, if you have a FICO score of 720 or greater, you could go out and literally within a week get $50,000 to $100,000 worth of business credit. Create your LLC, go ahead and get your stuff together, and just go out and apply for these cards. Boom. So these creative financing ideals are for people who are not bankable. Another way that you can get money, and this is Prosper. Does this still exist? You can go online to these lending cubs. Like Prosper's been around a long time. And they're doing HELOCs now. They've loaned user from Sugarland, Florida, and borrowed $10,000 for debt consolidation. So once again, you can go to Prosper, and let's go to lending clubs. Lending club. Avant, apply for $2,000 to $35,000 loan, have a 580 plus credit score. light stream, peer-to-peer lending, get up to 100K in 48 hours, lending club. There's all of this new stuff. So you can go to lending club, prosper, and get your money even if you have less than stellar credit. So that's another place you can get some money. Another creative way to get funding for your business is the pre-sale. Let's say that you're going to sell a service. Let's say you're going to go around and pick up people's trash. That is a service. And you pre-sell them like, hey, a year's versus service, I'll charge you $150 and get that from 150 people. Let's see what that is. 150 people times 150. It's $22,000. So you could do what's called a pre-sale. You can go out, pre-sell your services, get paid up front, and be in the game. This is very interesting. Not a lot of activity in the chat room. I wonder why. So another way that you can do creative financing for your businesses is, start it now. Start whatever business you want to sell and slowly scale it up. That's another way to get funding for your business. This is going to be a short live stream because it doesn't really once again, this stuff is not easy. I was just wondering because nobody was saying anything. Engineer Life Skill. Pre-orders are great for startups. Kickstarter built an empire. I was going to mention Kickstarter. That's another way you can get money. All right. I was just checking because, once again, this stuff isn't rocket science. It's something that, if you actually sat down, you can come up and think, with it yourself. If you have a money mindset. Many people don't have a money mindset. Like what I was talking about the other day, where people are not playing the money game. Most of America's not playing the money game. Most America's getting beat up by the money game. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Joe. Most of America's getting beat up by the money game. Most of America's not playing the money game. So one of the things that you can do, once again, is go ahead and get yourself together. Because, once again, I've started several businesses and I've not started a high investment business such as a restaurant. When I had the stores had to spend about $3,000 for rent on one upfront cost. Had to go out and get display counters and stuff. They could open the store was about $5,000 because we got stuff from the storage units to open up the store. All right, Joe, car washes are good. Because here's the thing that nobody wants to tell you. If you're bankable, you don't have a funding problem. If you got a 720 score, unless you want to start a multi-million-dollar business that's going to take millions, no, they ain't going to loan you millions with a 720. Thanks, Rogue Cyborg, for the $2 super chat. One of the things that I want you to understand is there's two classifications. There are people who are bankable and there are people who are not bankable. And if you're not bankable, you're going to have to go to these alternative lending sources to get money. This is what you're going to have to do. And this is why I talk about, making sure your credit is straight, or you have the ability to start a high cash flow business. One of the things that is very, very doable, one of the things that you should be looking at is the mechanics of your business. Because GC Solutions, the Upscale Garage Sale, the YouTube channel, these businesses did not take me a lot of money to start. During the life skills, you get a 500 plus email list just from a few campaigns. I mean, it's a lot harder than it used to be. Professional Kickstarters beat you out with high-end graphics. Oh, there's Kickstarter coaches now. It's become that big. LP, I use my eBay money to fund my adult coloring books. Awesome. In your life skill, banks will force money on you with 800 credit score and positive. Yeah, because see, everybody that's talking about creative funding is not bankable. Or if you're a real estate investor and you've gotten your fifth or sixth conventional loan, and then the banks are just like, you're over leveraged and they won't give you any more money. And this is where you got to get creative. But once again, you should look at your business model. Like, you should look at who you are and where you are. If you are broke dick Danny status, you should be starting, your first business should be a service business. Something that you could start for a low cost and make gobs of money. This is where you should be thinking, because, you should research your business. Like, whatever business you're thinking about, go to Google and put in, how much does it cost to start this business? It's in there. They'll give you rough numbers. And once you get into it some more, and once you start fleshing it out, and once again, like $250,000 to $1 million to start a laundromat. I don't know how much money laundromats make. What's up, reigning woman? Credit is queen to a cash king. Once again, credit is very important. I don't agree with Dave Ramsey on credit. I do agree with Dave Ramsey on cash. And I think to be effective, you need both. You need a good credit score and you need cash. The ideal situation where, once again, all right, Super One. Once again, there's ways to raise money. Now, here's something else that you can do that's a creative way for you to raise a lot of money quick. Put on a party. This is something that poor people used to do. They used to have what we call a rent party, and they would have a party and sell tickets to this party to pay someone's rent. You could do something similar. You can have a business lunch party. Just like, hey, have a party, have a few events, have some stuff going on, and just invite all your friends and charge $150 per admission. Once again, most people are not successful. It isn't because they don't want to be successful. They just don't think about being successful, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of ways that you can get funding. And if you're in need of alternative funding, once again, you're just not bankable. Because my friend Mario, when he had a job, he went out, because I think Mario had like a 780. He went out and got five $20,000 line of credits from 5 different banks. He did it on the same day. Got their merchant account. They got all the credit they wanted. He applied for a crazy amount of credit cards because he knew he was going to start his business and be self-employed. And I got to tell you, the environment for self-employed people today is so easy for getting money compared to what it was years ago. Like when I started GC Solutions, I didn't spend any money. And because I had relationships with furniture vendors that knew me from working with business environments, I just went in and said, hey, I need this and this. And they're like, okay, fine. So my relationship was my credit with those guys. There's so many ways to do this. So once again, there's a lot of ways for you to set yourself up, because the more that you're in broke dick Danny status, the more creative you're going to have to be. Now, here's another way if you have marginal to good credit to get a lot of money fast. It's called an app-orama. Matter of fact, because some people will go ahead and ask. And let's see. App-orama. I don't think people are doing this anymore. An app-orama is where you will go out and literally one night apply for 5 or 10 credit cards. Typically, once you're approved for 5 or 6, everyone else is going to start. All right, here it is. App-orama. App-orama, doctor of credit. An app-orama for short is a term that was coined by the Wall Street Journal on June 23rd, 2007. This is how long people have been playing this game. The idea behind an app-orama is to complete several credit card applications in a single day. The theory being that doing so consumers reduce the chances of credit card issues knowing about other applications made that day. Applying for new credit negatively affects the credit score. Researchers for new credit make up 10% of the FICO score. More consumers with a thin credit file. The negative impact is usually only a few points, but the loss grows exponentially with each application. These credit score drops only temporary and usually recover within 3 to 6 months. Now, I have schooled a few people in the app-orama. Typically, whenever I'm dating a girl, she's a good girl, and she's got like maybe $10,000, $12,000 worth of credit lines. I was like, look, let me help you with that. And I remember the last one, she applied for 7 credit cards in one night, and she got all 7. And she went from $12,000 to $50,000 in open credit lines. Then after 6 months, I taught her a few tricks. Then she asked for credit limit increases on 3 cards and got up to $80,000 in open credit lines. You know, the credit game, if you know how to play, it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard at all. So one of the things that I want you guys to understand is, you know, the money game. Like, you got to put yourself in a money mindset. And this is so hard. Making yourself, creating an environment where success is a given versus a shot in the dark. Because once you learn how to manage money, your credit's not going to be mad. And that's the battle that half of America is going through. America's drunk on credit. You know, America is drunk on this because, like, you know, let me go ahead and tell you, as a self-employed person, and this is for people who've had a business, you've got revenue, you got provable revenue. Let's be, you know, the days of lying on credit apps other than credit cards, You're not going to be able to rely on a business credit app. They're going to ask for verification. They're going to ask for bank statements. So let me be this sure. You've got 2 years of business under your belt and you've got provable income. You got business bank statements. You could get with, I know PayPal, you can get up to $500,000 with PayPal alone. And if you know what to do with that money, you can make more. Black Caesar, Uncle G, Apple Rumble will help elevate your card limits to the high 5-digit. Well, it depends. All right, here's a lesson in credit. And I want you to go to, let's see. Let me show you. Because I'm not going to go over it because I already did a video on it. All right, I want you to go to this video. All right, just go to this video, how to build good credit, what to do with your first credit card. It's on the personal finance channel. I'll lay out the whole game because it usually starts with your very first credit card, and the average person is such a consumer that they go hog wild and charge it up with nonsense. That's one of the things that you will not do. You will treat your personal credit and business credit as assets used to get more assets. Engineering life skill. Banks want them tax returns. You got to plan. Well, actually, there's a few banks that will do a mortgage on 12 years bank statements, 12 months bank statements. Because my real estate agent was talking to me, and there are banks that will do a real mortgage of 12 months of bank statements in a good credit score. So you don't even need tax returns. But traditional lending, they're going to actually have you sign the form so they can check your tax returns. Because it's getting very hard to impossible to lie for certain things. You're just not going to be able to do it. And they put the clamps down. And this is why. Oh, Black Caesar, yeah, the girls I showed how to do this, they already had credit cards. And, once again, literally it takes 6 months to a year to max out your credit, to really improve your credit. This is for people who need funding, your boy Rich. Yeah, as a self-employed person in 2019, 2020, there are so many funding options if you have provable income. If you have back in the day, if you had bad credit, you couldn't get a merchant account. Don't matter now. You can have toe-up credit. They'll still approve you a merchant account. So everything has changed. The deal is you got to run a business that makes revenue. Peer-to-peer lending, we mentioned that. Patrick. In the past year, I've been able to obtain 11 credit cards under my business name. The reason is to beat the reception and build relationships with the creditors. Okay. Dig your well before you're thirsty. I see you. Because once again, you know, the beginning of this video is for people who are looking for alternative forms of funding. And I want you to look at your business model, because there are so many business models out there that you could start a business with little to no real. I mean, seriously, you can start businesses online for $500 to $2,000, and I'm talking about businesses that ultimately 2 to 3 years later would be multi-million-dollar businesses or $1 million business. You just got to get started. You just got to get started. Because one of the things that kills so many people is bad mindset. A bad mindset. Let me tell you a sign of a bad mindset. They ain't going to give me no money. Do you know that small community banks make business loans all day long? Because loans, I think, under $50,000 are made at the branch level. At a PNC, Wells Fargo, Chase, they have a whole loan department that's not anywhere near the branch that's making these decisions. But you go to a small community bank, maybe 15, 20 branches, and you get to know the banker, you can get a loan. You can get a loan. Now, one of the things that I want you guys to do is to start your business and start making money. Whatever it is, whatever ideal you have, go to Google. Go check this out. Google is so dope. Google will do this for you. Opening your car wash. It's in Google. How to start a pet I mean, this is where you need to start, because I get people who are always saying like, hey, is this a good business? I don't know if that's a good business for you. I don't know that. I think part of the problem is we all have so many options. We have so many options today. We have so many things that we can do. We have so many things that we can work on. We have so many things that we can dream or aspire to. And people like to keep their options on the table. I'm going to put it to you like this. And this is going to be one of my moments of regret. I wanted to keep my options on the table when I was dealing with this trust fund baby that was worth $10 million. One of the best relationships I ever had. Looking back now, I should have married that girl. And this is one of the pitfalls of keeping your options on the table. You get the options on your table, but you can miss out on locking down something good. So you may have 20 different business ideals and you're very excited about each and every one of them. You're just like, I can do this. I can do this. I want to do this. I don't know which one to pick. Use the Ben Franklin method. Take a sheet of paper. You got 20 business ideals. Take 20 sheets of paper and list out the pros and the cons of that business. There's something special about writing it out, getting it out of your mind, putting it on paper and looking at it and like, whoa, that is not as hot as I thought it was going to be. Now that I'm like scheduling it, and do that for each and every ideal. Patrick, what kind of income? Sasha, credit unions are good. Credit, Navy Federal if you can get it. Grant Barnes. It's crazy. Before the Industrial Revolution, many people felt confident about owning their own business. That's then the 9 to 5 crack pipe came. Here's what happened. Everybody had to work very hard unless you were wealthy and you were able to have servants or people to do work for you. But the average family, this is why families, let me show y'all something. Average. Check this out. The average number of people per household was 5.5 in 1850. And it was 5.4, 4.7. It declined to 4.3. Because people used to have a gang of kids. It was nothing for a man and wife to have 9 to 12 kids, especially farmers. You created these workers for the farm. You was like popping out these kids to work on the farm. More kids you had, the more work you could get done. The more work you get done, the more money you could make. And then we've gone to the point where people are not having kids now. But back in the day, large families were the norm. I mean, many of you, think about your situation. How many of you got 5 or 6 uncles and aunts, but your kids, they're not going to have that because you're not having that many kids? Maxine, what are you talking about? Opulence is excellence. Patrick, if you got Navy fans, take advantage tomorrow. I got a 25 MX starting down this road a year ago, thanks to Glendon and Erica. Awesome, man. Congratulations. Opulence is excellence. Black Caesar, essentially, this is what you're dealing with credit today. There's what's called an exposure limit that didn't exist for your grandma. If your grandma had a credit card and she paid it on time, she could be 60 years old with a $25,000, $50,000 credit limit, regardless of her income. That is not the case today. You could be rocking an 810, but you only make $35,000 a year. You will be limited in the amount of credit that you can get. So if you want these big boy credit limits of $25,000 to $50,000, you need to have a high income. That's going to be the thing that's going to get you in. You're going to need a high income. One of the reasons that my business credit card got to 100K, I was spending 15 to 20 buying units at public storage, and then I was paying eBay fees. Like eBay fees were like sometimes $3,000 to $5,000 per month. And I was paying that sucker off. So I had heavy duty usage. Let's see. So that was one of the things that I had going for me. I had really heavy duty usage and very good payment history. Like what I'm telling you guys is you want to make to money. And the money's out here to be made. Your boy Rich, 700 credit score and 100K in proof of income, business income can get you a business loan. Absolutely. Like PayPal. PayPal has a loan program. Stripe has a loan program. Once again, if you're using PayPal or Stripe, PayPal did me 350K. Now the payment schedule is insane, but I took it because I crunched the numbers and I realized I would save more money than if that income was reported on my what they report to their Internal Revenue Service. All right, Tracy. Muka Chandra. I work at a bank and I've seen people get business credit to buy video games, and you're so right. Most businesses don't know their numbers and they don't use predictive analytics to determine changes. I was talking to my banker before she switched branches. I think she got promoted. And she's like, people come in here for business loans, but they depreciate everything. And they're like, yeah, I made $500,000, but you're only claiming 50 over your taxes. That's the thing. You gotta, I had a client and I was telling her that, you gotta pay these taxes. I mean, her taxes, she was in New York. Her taxes were like $22,000 per month on what she was pulling out the business. But she did that for a year. And since now she had paid those taxes and she had that income, she was able to get massive loans. Yeah, so that's how you got to play the game. So, once again, you got to push your business. I'm not going to do it in this video because I'm just going to let y'all know what's coming up. I'm going to start offering the art of holding with business classes. Things that you guys need to know, because I had someone ask me, should they put their trucks in their holding company? And I've been screaming for 2-3 years, no, you don't do anything. Your holding company does nothing. And I've had people argue with me. It's like, well, I want to put the web. No, all that goes in the operating company. So I'm going to start holding business classes for that. But once again, once you do certain things, and also some conservative banks, regardless of your credit score, regardless of your financials, they're going to start you off at a conservative level, and you will have to go back to get more later after you paid them off and once you built a relationship. But there's so many things out here. Like I said, I went to Clearbank today because I'm going to start some heavy duty advertising. And I was just like, let me go ahead and get some money for this. Because I'm saving all of my other money for the real estate ideals that I want to do in 2020 when the market softens a little bit. I've already seen some prices fall. I've seen some properties heavily discounted. I'm getting the emails, so it's starting to happen. And once again, you got to realize once you go ahead and get one of these big boy loans, you're going to have big boy payments. And this is why you want your business to be making generous cash flow. Because, I talked to the loan analyst today and we were going over my business, and, actually talking to someone else about my business, it sounds really great. I just think this is just my business, but when I start talking about it, it gets very interesting. But I want you guys to pick business models that make cash. That's a very important thing to do. And a lot of people, they're picking these business models that aren't doing really. They kind of pick business models like they pick mates. It looks good to me, without any research or deeper diving. But once again, if you're broke Dick Danny status and you are a person who needs creative financing because you're unbankable through traditional financing, I want you to look at yourself. And I want you to be honest. Would you loan yourself $100,000 if you had it? Because Byron Allen put it out there. He says there is so much money out there. if you have to put yourself in the position to receive it. What do you mean stock in other companies? You are a legitimate holding company. Once you create that holding company, you have an operating company under that that's pushing cash up. You're a legitimate holding company. If you're talking about one of these big boy holding companies like Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, you need to get your millions up. Maxim, I don't know that link you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's more money than good deals. If you could get a good deal, you could get money. Let's say you broke Dick Danny, but you sit down one day and you come up with a hell of an idea for a website. You get investors throwing money at you. You will get investors literally throwing money at you. There's so much money out here. But once again, if you're bankable, if you're not bankable, then you're going to have to go to Prosper, or you're going to have to go to these alternative. And just a quick Google search will bring up, like, let's say you have bad credit. Like, say you got a 650 to 680. You can go to these lending clubs and they're going to charge you hell of interest, but you can get the money. And you've got a good workable business model that will produce cash. Let's say you have to take a loan at 15%. 15% is very high interest. And let's say you take a loan at, let's see. Let's say you borrow 25,000 plus 15%, which is 3,750. So that's going to take you to $28,000. So you borrow $28,000 and you invested in a business that yields you 150,000. It's worth it. It's worth it. So, because you got people out here like, my name Jimmy Jones. I'm not going to pay no high interest, even though I'm a credit bum. Jimmy Jones, at ease with that noise. What's up? Engineer life skill. That's golden. You got that. How much you want.